What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today is episode 110, and today we're going to talk about Boeing. We're going to have that uncomfortable conversation about what's been going on with Boeing. People seem to be dying left and right, both on the consumer end, meaning passengers, and internally. So Boeing, as it says on the screen here, is an American multinational corporation that designs and manufactures and sells airplanes, rotorcraft, rockets, satellites, and missiles worldwide. The company also provides leasing and product support services. Boeing is among the largest global aerospace manufacturers. It is the fourth largest defense contractor in the world based on 2022 revenue. All right. So we're pretty much just gonna pause there. But it sounds crazy, but what's been going on with Boeing is it's very similar to a movie that I watched back in the days. I believe the movie came out in 2010 and it starred Clive Owen, and the movie was called The International. Came out actually in 2009. If you guys have a chance, or if it's on any streaming platforms, if you didn't see this movie, go ahead and take a look at it. But pretty much the movie was about a bank, like a multinational type bank that was in the business of getting countries in debt and disrupting governments and getting people killed, getting people who were opposed to their views wiped out. They were in arms trafficking, they were dealing with warlords, and if you crossed them, if you decided to be a whistleblower, they would get you killed, And it sounds crazy, but that seems to be what's going on with Boeing, as crazy as it sounds. So first, we're going to go ahead and just take a look at two articles. There's an article about the two employees, former employees, which are whistleblowers that were supposed to testify, that got killed within a week of each other. The last one said he died from some weird infection. I don't think anyone buys that. And then the other one supposedly was suicidal and shot himself in a car, all before they testified. So it really does look, just real suspicious. Then we're going to go ahead and take a look at the charts and see where, Boeing is going. I know right now the stock is down. I would say, what is that, 30 something percent year to date? So back in this time frame here in January 2024, it was at 257.28 compared to where it is now, which is 173. And the reason I'm doing this video again, they recently had their investor relations conference. And we're going to talk about that. We have an article from NPR Business, which we're going to go over. And then we'll also look at another whistleblower that pretty much says, hey, I'm looking over my back while I'm driving. I'm checking to see if I'm being followed. So the whole situation is just crazy. We're going to talk about it. We're also going to jump in the charts and take a look at some possible levels on Boeing and whether you should keep this stock or do you think it's at a buy right now, because it's so low. Let's get into it. Coffee, best thing in the morning. All right, so the first article here, as you guys can see, it says Boeing whistleblower died by suicide, police investigation reveals. And this is on CNN. So, at first when I heard this, I was like, what? And the article that I saw initially was from like a sketchy news source. This is CNN reporting, pretty much in a nutshell, this guy worked in quality control at Boeing, and he had spoken to them on several occasions about things that they were doing that was not right. And eventually he decided, listen, I don't want to be a part of this, and he resigned. All right, well, he came back. He was supposed to testify. I'll just give you an example. Let's say he was supposed to testify on Friday. Well, Thursday, they found him dead in his car, shot in the head, with supposedly a suicide note. Nothing about this guy, nothing about his demeanor, according to family member and friends, suggested that he was going to kill himself. Then we hop over here into this article, right? And it says here a third whistleblower, a bit spooked after two others died within weeks. I have to prepare myself, he says. All right, so this is the third whistleblower. And he's pretty much saying, hey, you know what? I'm driving and I'm looking over my shoulder. I'm checking to make sure I'm not being followed, you know. And yes, we know they make airplanes, but you also have to remember Boeing is a government contractor, a defense contractor. According to 2022 revenue, they're the fourth largest in the world, right? They're in the military business. They're around the military business, and I'm pretty sure they hire military type people too. You know, you can see where I'm going with this, and you could put it together. I don't necessarily even have to say it, but this is just crazy. The second guy, he died. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. All right. So a third Boeing whistleblower is a bit spooked after two others died within weeks of each other, one by gunshot and the other by a sudden, fast spreading infection. So, people are saying this guy, he got sick. Just to give you an example, he got sick on Monday, he was dead by Friday, you know. And again, it sounds crazy, but if you go back to that movie, that's the type of stuff that was going on. I remember this guy was supposed to testify, and he was like at a train station, and someone just walked up to him, brushed against him, and he died. He got some kind of poison and he died. These guys are affiliated with the military, man, and I'm pretty sure they have a lot of military, ex-military people on staff. The whole thing just looks real, real spooky. All right. And that was leading up now. So I guess, the smoke just got real thick. And then they decided to have an investor relations meeting. Now, usually when you have that type of meeting, you allow your shareholders to speak. They didn't do that in this event. All right. So they pretty much had questions tailor made and asked by a moderator. So they had a moderator. They had someone that they pretty much hired to ask questions on behalf of shareholders. It doesn't get any crazier than that, guys. You know, um, and I'll just go over a couple of the points here. And I'll link this article in the description, guys, if you want to go ahead and read it yourself. All right. So it says here Boeing held its annual shareholders meeting on Friday. This was May 17th. All right. This follows a difficult week and year for the plane maker, which is facing renewed scrutiny over its safety and production practices. So if you guys don't know, Boeing, they've had issues, I would say, probably over the last decade. All right. Ever since they moved their facilities from Washington to, I believe it's now in like the Carolinas, where they assemble the planes. You guys, you've seen TikTok videos. You've seen TikTok videos with like, I forgot but a news agency, it was a foreign news agency that snuck into one of the factories and was asking workers, hey, would you fly on the plane? And pretty much the consensus was, hell no, I'm not flying this, because apparently they're being assembled so poorly. But they had two crashes in 2018 and 2019, which killed a total of 346 people. And the stock at that point, I believe, went all the way down to like $90. And then it started to come back because, they were doing a couple of things. They get contracts. Like I said, they have contracts with the government as well. So they were bringing in revenue from that standpoint. But so the stock started to go up again. And then recently, I would say within the last couple of months, there was a flight, Alaska Airlines, that was, mid-air, whatever level it was at, but they were experts saying, if it had gone up, say, a couple more feet and the door blew off, the whole plane would have went down. So pretty much, you know, the flight was at a certain level in the air and the door just flew off. People's phones were being sucked out of their hands. It was just crazy. Fortunately, no one died in an incident, but again, it just reared up its head. So it's just so much different things that's going on with this company. It really makes you wonder, like, where's the stock going? I used to own Boeing. years ago, and I sold right around when the first crash happened. So they had one in 2018, and then how do you have another one again in 2019? Like what? Like what's going on? You know, I'm sorry guys, but this type of industry, this is not something that you can make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? You should be on point. It's like a pilot. You can't go oops. There's no oops. I'm sorry, sir. You make a mistake, people are gonna die. So for a company that's in such a serious field, such a critical field as manufacturing airplanes, commercial airplanes, so you're holding hundreds of thousands of lives in your hands on a daily basis. Their quality control seems to be, I'm sorry, it's trash. It's real trash. So much so to the point there's a couple of these like travel websites that now allow you to pick the type of plane, you know, and people are not picking Boeing. I'm sorry, you know, people are dying. It's crazy. If we go down here into the article, it pretty much just gives you a section here. Let me find it for you guys. But pretty much they're talking about, you know, the company possibly now being charged. And here we go. So it says, Joel, what do you know about the criminal charges that Boeing could face? So the government is pretty much saying, hey, we're gonna charge you. We're gonna charge you for the deaths of those 346 people, and the families, are pushing for it as well. So it says here, yeah, this goes back to the crashes of the two 737 MAX jets in 2018 and 2019 that killed 346 people. Boeing struck a deal with the Department of Justice to avoid prosecution. What? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. For misleading regulators about the safety of those planes. Basically, the company was put on probation for 3 years. Wow, so you kill 346 people and you get put on probation for 3 years. Now, federal prosecutors say Boeing has not held up to its end of the deal and could be subject to prosecution. You know, that's just crazy. I don't know where this pressure is coming from all of a sudden. I don't know if it's an election thing. I don't know what's going on. But it seems like now the government is finally saying, hey, we're going after you guys. Thankfully, about time. But Boeing is saying here that they're disputing the charges, blah 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 blah. It's too much. It's too many things going on. 346 people dead. You have a door that gets blown off in midair with passengers on a flight, and then you have pretty much a hearing where you have former employees who are going to testify about the safety of the planes in terms of how they were assembled. And they mysteriously die, one by suicide and another by some fast spreading infection. What infection is this? We never heard of this infection. Where is this infection coming from? What is this? Some hypervirus? Like, come on, guys, we're not stupid. So let's go ahead now and hop into the charts and take a look at some levels and why me personally, you know, if I own Boeing right now, I'd be running for the hills. I'm getting out of the stock. I'd cut my losses and keep it pushing. If you're looking to make some money on this, I would probably bet puts, but for the long term, because obviously someone's protecting this company. Someone is heavily invested in this company, and that is why they're doing so many things wrong with not even a criminal charge. You know, what is this, 2018? What are we in, 2024 now? How many years is that? What is that, like 6 years ago from the first plane crash? And no criminal charges? So someone's definitely heavily protecting this company. However, in public scrutiny and the stock market, this is just going to send the stock down even further. So unless they come up with some magical solution or they start putting people behind bars, I only see this going to the downside. But let's hop into the charts. All right, so we have Boeing pulled up. So as you guys can see, this line here, right? This range here of let's go to the one all the way down here. So this is the $91 mark. So this is where it got all the way down to $91. And if you look at the date at the bottom, it says Friday the 20th of March 20. All right. So this was back in 2020. So this was fresh on the heels of the last crash of the Boeing 737 Max in 2019. So they had two. They had 2018 and 2019. And then, of course, I'm sure this was also during the pandemic. So, no one was traveling like that. All right. People were trying to stay away from airports. So this was actually the low point. But then, as you can see here, if we go back up to this level, right, what is this price point? It's at 117. And this was still in 2020, so it started to go back up, right? It's back at this level now, 156, and it comes back down here to 124, right? And this was May of 2022, and it's just like constant up and downs. But if you look at this high point here, the high point for this stock was 452. Look at this, coming from its glory days. 452 to where it is now to what is it, 173. I would run to the hills if I own this stock. Sell, 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 and get out. It's too crazy. At one point you see here it had a spike, right? It went all the way back up to this level, and this was December of 2023, and then boom, it just went down again. Now it's up here, but it looks like honestly it's gonna go back down to this level. If the government does announce that they're going to move forward with criminal charges for the deaths of 346 passengers, and I'm sure you have family members pushing for that. I'm sure there was some type of civil settlement. I'm sure they paid out a bunch of money just to keep people quiet. But if criminal charges get announced by the Department of Justice, I would say Boeing is probably going to go back down to this level and slide even further. So that's just my personal opinion. If I own Boeing, I'd get out, run for the hills, sell this stock at all costs. Um, Puts, you could definitely look into that. I don't know how it would play out, but you could definitely look into that. But even if you get a put at this 173, somewhere around here, say the 174, 175 strike, I could definitely see this being profitable within, I would say, 6 months to a year. So I would set it up like a leap. But yeah, but that's pretty much where it's going. That's my take on Boeing. I'll link the articles in the description so you guys can go over and read it for yourself. You know, but it does not look good. All right. But that's it for the video today, guys. I hope you found this information useful. If you did, please consider subscribing. I make new videos like this every day. Go ahead and like this video and also share it with a family member or friend. Towards the end of the video, you'll see a couple of cards pop up with some of my most popular videos. One is how to print options with Robinhood, and the other one is actually investing towards your first 100,000 so you could get that snowball effect. So go ahead and check those videos out. Thanks again for watching. I do appreciate it. Y'all stay safe and have yourself a blessed day. Peace.